be another 2 hours. Who knows? I mean, hell, man, the word of the Lord, man. Yo, man, this is a fountain of everlasting water. Okay, men could continue to drink and drink off of this knowledge for eternity, man. You understand? That's what's so beautiful about it. Okay, but that woman does represent the nation of Israel. Give me Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 2.
I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and dedicated woman.
Right, because the daughter of Zion represents the nation of Israel. Okay, in this particular verse. Okay, the Lord said he likened us to a tender and delicate woman. Okay, meaning we are married and joined unto the Most High. We are his precious ones. Drop down to verse, I believe it's 23. Let me see here. I think it's verse 23 here.
Verse 23.
Right, read.
They shall lay hold on bow and spear.
Right, which represents, I believe, the nations that came up against us. Read.
All right, they shall lay hold on bow and spear. They are cruel.
Right, and that's the Babylonians. Read.
And have no mercy. Their voice roared like the sea, and they ride upon horses set in array as men for war against thee, O daughter of Zion.
So that wasn't just talking about the women of our nation. The Lord compared the whole nation to be called and considered as the daughter of Zion. Not the daughters, but the daughter of Zion, because Zion represents the land of Israel. We're the daughter of the land of Israel because Israel is a motherland. Okay? Not Africa. Seeming that Israel is a motherland, we are the daughters, okay, of that land. So in the feminine tense or feminine text, in comparison with the Most High, all right, the nation of Israel is considered to be the daughter of Zion. And as a nation, the Lord said that these other nations, and that this particular verse, I believe it's talking about the Babylonians, would come up against us upon horses. So we're like that woman, according to the scriptures, man. Give me Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 31, another one.
Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 31. For I have heard a voice of a woman in travail.
Right, so Jeremiah said that I have heard a voice as of a woman in travail. So we're going to find out who this woman is. Read.
And the anguish as of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewailed herself, that spreaded her hands, saying, Woe is me now, for my soul is weird because of murder. Right,
which represented the Babylonians that raped, robbed, and murdered our nation. Okay, you can read about that also in history and throughout the scriptures as well. So the woman is representing the nation of Israel. Okay, meaning Satan is against us. He is our adversary. Okay, that's who he is. All right, he is our adversary according to the scripture. Give me 2 Chronicles, okay, chapter 21, verse 1. Okay, meaning Satan's job is to be against our nation and to cause us to go astray from the words of God, which is what his job was with Adam and Eve. What did Satan do? His job was to go through serpentine light, and cause Eve and Adam to go off, right? All right, so that's Satan's whole plot against our nation. 2 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 1.
Verse 1. Now Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Jeroboam his son.
Right, Salakia, my mistake. 1 Chronicles 21 and 1. Salak, my fault. 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 1. Yeah.
And Satan stood up against Israel.
What does Satan do?
Stood up against Israel.
So when the Lord said that he will put enmity between the serpent and the woman, that's talking about how the Lord has put the spirit there and has given a green light for Satan, okay, to persecute the woman, which is Israel. Okay, and all throughout the history, that's exactly what Satan did. Satan never did anything good for our nation as an evil angel of the Most High. Satan was always about confusion and destruction amongst us individually or as a nation. All right, so that's the hatred that is there between us and Satan. We should hate Satan as much as Satan hates us. All right, that's the enmity the Lord put there in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And if we hate Satan, what are we going to end up doing? We're going to end up doing that which is right. Because if we love Satan, that means we hate the Most High, and we want to end up doing that which is wicked. So the spirit of hatred between Satan and us is there to keep us to stay in these scriptures. Unlike Eve, who liked the serpent, and by her liking the serpent, that's what caused
Right.
death to come upon this earth. So that's why the scripture said, flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. That serpent meaning Satan on that level, as well as the actual serpent you will flee from as well, because that's the curse the Lord put upon this serpent to make it a symbolic symbol of death, or symbol of death. So read 1 Chronicles 21:1 again.
And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
Right. So that's what he did. He provoked David to number Israel. Drop down to verse 4.
Verse 4, nevertheless, the king's words prevailed against Joab.
Right, because Joab was trying to tell David he was going off by doing this. Because the Lord said Israel is like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. Read on.
Wherefore Joab departed and went throughout all Israel and came to Jerusalem.
Verse 7.
Verse 7, and the Most High was displeased with his thing.
Right, so the Most High did not like what David did. Read.
Therefore he smote Israel.
Right, see that? He smote Israel. He was displeased that David, actually went into the devices of Satan and caused him to do that which was unright in the eyes of the Lord. So then the Lord plagued Israel. Right?
All right, verse 8, and David said unto the Most High, I have sinned greatly,
Right?
because I have done this thing. But now I beseech thee, do away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly.
Right, and that's what we say when we sin. When we sin, meaning Satan got the best of us for that battle. Okay, because Satan could win battles against us, but he's not going to win the war. Because it's already been prophesied that Michael and the angels are going to cast him out. But right now, Satan has a hold on us. And certain battles we're going to lose, and battles mostly we should try to win, and do win at the end of the day. You understand? But in this case, David lost one against Satan. You understand? So he asked the Most High to forgive him, okay, for that which he did when he sinned against the Lord, because that's what Satan did. Verse 1 says Satan stood up against Israel because Satan wanted to get through Israel through David. Okay, give me Zechariah 3:1, and this goes into.
I was just going to say that, man. Yeah,
this goes into what we spoke about last spring.
Yeah,
Marsha and I went over this in class last spring in April. Okay, Satan tried to get to Israel through the Levites. See, he in this situation in Chronicles, he used David.
Yeah.
Okay, because he wanted the Most High to smite the whole nation of Israel through the sin that David committed. And now we're going to read where the Most High tried to go through the Levites and Joshua to cause the whole nation to get smitten. You understand? Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1.
And he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord.
Right, so Joshua the high priest represents the actual Joshua the high priest who was a Levite. Okay, the Levites in general as well. And Joshua the high priest also represents, the 12 tribes of Israel, the men of the Lord. Okay, now it's not talking about no Ariah.
Right.
Okay, it's not so. I often heard all these man-pleasing breakdowns. It's talking about the men of the Lord. Okay, it's like a triple-fold scripture. Okay, twofold is like a triple-fold, because when Joshua was a Levite, he was a high priest. So that's talking about literally him. And it also talking about the Levites, which that's another show that I would have to do with the brother Marsha and I. We did the class on it. We got the notes. He still has the notes, and he understands what I'm talking about. That's talking about the Levites, because they was the ministers of the law to the nation of Israel, which means lawyer, which means join unto me. And law in the word lawyer represents law, because the Levites were in charge of ministering the law and serving in the temple. So Satan tried to get through the kings of Judah to cause Israel to go off, and when that didn't work thoroughly, then he tried to go through the Levites. He figures if he gets the Levites to go off, which does all the services and the ministering of the Lord, then he will likewise cause a domino effect to cause the whole freaking nation to go off into idol worshiping, which will make the Most High say, forget you niggas, and just destroy all of us. See, that's the hatred that Satan has for us. That's the enmity that the Most High put, between the serpent, and between the children of Israel. So Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1 again.
And he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord.
Right, read.
And Satan standing at his right hand to resist.
So when it says Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, meaning that what? This is referring to the men of the Lord prophesying the scriptures, as well as Joshua the high priest and the Levites ministering in their office and their duties in the temple, doing the word of the Lord. And Satan stood at the right hand to resist him. which also cuts the mark of the beast RFID chip doctrine too. The mark in the right hand represents Satan is at your side. Psalms 109 verse 6 says, let a wicked man fall and let Satan stand at his side. You understand? So there's many ways, but we pull out too many precepts. So
too many million scriptures to break down the mark of the beast, man. Yeah.
Certain men are saying that the mark of the beast represents leprosy now. Okay, this is insane. This is insane now.
Ooh,
this is insane, man. What's going on within the nation with these teachings, man?
But those same men saying that we're using too many scriptures, man.
Unbelievable. Give me Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. Satan is resisting Joshua the high priest, which represents today in our modern day testament. Because you got, listen, man. The Spirit has showed and revealed unto us that there's 3 testaments. There's an Old Testament, the New Testament, and the modern day testament, which is what we're living right now. The New Testament is like our Old Testament. Just like the Old Testament was like the New Testament, was like the Old Testament to the New Testament people back then. If you get the understanding. Okay? The modern day testament we live in, we are these people in these scriptures. All right? We must see ourselves in these scriptures. Joshua the high priest represents the men of the Lord, not just Levites. You understand? Because the Lord said he made us as kingdoms of priests. All right, so Satan is standing at our right hand trying to resist us from doing what we got to do, which is ministering the word of the Lord to the people and keeping his commandments. Give Revelation chapter 12, verse 10.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
See that? This is a national thing. Satan is not just going after Levites. He's going after the whole nation, our brethren. Okay, Satan is that accuser or adversary. He's cast down, meaning he's no longer in power. His kingdom is coming to an end. Now the kingdom of the Most High is now being established. Read.
Which accused them before our God day and night.
Now links up with Zechariah chapter 3 verse 1. Okay, it says Satan stood on the right hand, okay, to resist him. Okay, so day and night, 24 hours, like the old saying goes, Satan takes no coffee breaks. That's right, Satan doesn't take no coffee breaks. Day and night, Satan is trying to plot and scheme against the nation of Israel. Okay, so that's what his job is to do. That's why Paul said, don't be ignorant of Satan's devices, knowing that Satan 24/7 is around the clock trying to get you to go off. Likewise, you're not supposed to be ignorant of Satan's devices. And that's not talking about an RFID chip. Okay, now we're going to start calling you men Hebrew Pringleites. A bunch of men Pringleites, because you always talking about chips. Okay, like Russells, man, like Ruffles. Hebrew Ruffleites, because y'all niggas always running your mouth about a chip, man. Okay, so I call you wise Israelites. Okay, like damn Wise and Bonton or whatever the hell type of chips. Because you always talking about some damn chips, man. Okay, all these prophecies coming to pass, and you the only one talking about a freaking chip, man.
Infowars.
All right, Infowars.com, Alex Jones, and all these other men that you men make rich by hitting off their websites damn near 3 times a day like an addict. You understand? Y'all the only ones in your own little world with this nonsense, and yet these current events that's going on is biblical prophecy, man. And we could go in these scriptures and bring out damn near 70% of them, man. But there's no talks of a chip, man, because it's only existing in your mind, man. It's only in your mind. You and Alex Jones' mind.
Right.
Gerald Kalante, Infowars.com Israelites, man. Your David Icke Israelites.
Right.
Unbelievable, man.
Infowarites, man.
Right. Verse 13. Revelation 12:13.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast down onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Right, so the understanding is that Satan has been cast down upon the earth. So Satan's job is like a roaring lion, seeking to destroy whom he may devour. And he's now on this earth right now because he's cast down, meaning the Most High sent Satan down on this earth to do wickedness and evil and try to, cause men to go off to see who was sincere about serving the Lord or not. And the very first person Satan is coming after is the woman. Okay, it says right here, the woman, right? Read it again.
No. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth her man-child.
That's why the scripture said in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, what did the Lord say? He said he will put enmity between the serpent and the woman. It's not talking about Mary.
Right.
It's talking about the nation of Israel being persecuted by Satan. That's a parable. And Satan don't want us to bring this information